Lufthansa has been cleared for takeoff. It's the biggest corporate rescue in Germany during the COVID-19 crisis. The German government has approved a multi-billion euro bailout for the company, and it's the only action so far that involves a direct investment by Angela Merkel's government. The airline giant has been suffering heavy economic losses due to coronavirus restrictions. The bailout comes from a 100 billion euro fund that has been set up to buy stakes in companies that are struggling.
In Libya, it's another setback for East-based rebel military commander Khalifa Haftar. The West-based government of National Accord, or the GNA, has claimed that hundreds of Russian fighters allied with Haftar's Libyan National Army, or the LNA, have fled capital Tripoli. Around 1,500 to 1,600 of them retreated with their heavy equipment to the airport of Bani Walid, a town 150 kilometers south of Tripoli. They were eventually flown out of western Libya to Jufra, a remote central district and LNA stronghold. Haftar's forces, backed by Russia, Egypt and United Arab Emirates, have been trying to capture Tripoli for over a year. But after facing heavy losses, the LNA is retreating from the frontline positions.
Heidi, good afternoon to you. One can't help but think that this organisation is on a hiding to nothing, given that the government is hardly likely to budge on cigarette smoking. That was endorsed, as we heard a little earlier today, by both the Health Minister and the Cooperative Governance Minister at a briefing in Cape Town.
Exactly, Jeremy. So we do understand this is a very contentious issue, given the fact that FITA is demanding minutes of a meeting as to when it was decided that the selling of cigarettes would be banned during the national lockdown. FITA is saying that if minutes were not taken or any votes were not taken, according to the Minister of Kokta Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma in her supporting affidavit, they then want the decision, the records of the decision as to why the cigarettes cannot be sold.
However, Brazil still backs hydroxychloroquine. Despite the suspension of trials of the drug by the World Health Organization, Brazil's health ministry has said that it would not change its recommendation to treat COVID-19 with HCQ. The World Health Organization has decided to suspend trials over safety concerns, but following his U.S. counterpart, Donald Trump, Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro has touted the supposed benefits of hydroxychloroquine and a related drug chloroquine against the novel coronavirus. Brazil has gradually widened the use of malaria drugs in mild COVID-19 cases as well. Brazil's health ministry issued a guideline last week recommending doctors in the public health system prescribe either chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine from the onset of COVID-19 symptoms.
Countdown is on. The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft is set to launch Wednesday at 4:33 p.m. in a historic flight piloted by two veteran astronauts, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, who've been gearing up for the mission for months. The inaugural flight of the Dragon X could certainly herald in a new era in human spaceflight, setting the stage for generations to come. It marks the first attempt by a private company in the U.S. to send astronauts into orbit. And so far, so good. NASA and SpaceX officials report no significant technical issues. But the stormy weather hitting Florida this week could pose a potential problem as NASA and SpaceX officials are tracking the weather from Florida on up the eastern seaboard of the United States and into Canada and beyond.
As the tourism industry cries out for help, the Sunshine State and its Premier are refusing to listen. Anastasia Palaszczuk today went toe-to-toe with the Federal Tourism Minister, insisting she won't be bullied into opening the borders.
Beautiful day.
Not that anyone outside Queensland can enjoy it.
I say to New South Wales and Victoria, get your cases under control so we can open everything up.
Like a gatekeeper, the Premier was on the Gold Coast warning tourist types the border is destined to remain shut for at least another month.
But it would be highly unlikely considering there are 362 active cases in Sydney, so in New South Wales.
Anastasia Palaszczuk has already butted heads with the New South Wales Premier. Today's stoush was with the Federal Tourism Minister.
After 15 years, Burundi is getting a new president, but it doesn't mean change. With 68.7% of the vote, the ruling CNDD-FDD party won elections, meaning longtime President Pierre Nkurunziza will be succeeded by his close ally and army general, Ndayishimiye. It's the country's first competitive presidential election since civil war erupted in 1993. Disputing that is Burundi's main opposition leader, Agathon Rwasa, who slammed the results as a fantasy. He received 24% of the vote, but accused the winning party of stuffing ballots and arresting opposition members. He's not alone in his concerns. The government blocked most international observers, or those who were allowed in were told they'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks, meaning they'd miss the vote.
Republicans ramping up their battle against California Governor Gavin Newsom's vote-by-mail executive order, calling it a, quote, brazen power grab in a new lawsuit.
It is an absolute brazen power grab, and beyond that, Brian, it will inject chaos into the election process in California. So what he's talking about is just sending ballots directly to registered voters. In LA County alone, there are 1.5 million more registered voters than there are adults in the state because California never cleans up their voter rolls. So there will be ballots littering the street. And if you don't believe me, look what's happening in Nevada. We have a website, protectthevote.com, where we're showing thousands of ballots just littering mailboxes, littering garbage cans, because Clark County did the exact same thing. They send ballots directly to inactive voters. Not a single state in this country that does mail voting sends ballots to inactive voters. This is frightening, and that's why we're suing the governor.